One of the things that we often struggle with as construction business owners is how we can generate more leads and secure new contracts. Now, for a contractor, having a steady stream of work in the pipeline is extremely important to ensuring that we have a steady stream of cash flow coming into the business, which is vital for our construction companies to survive. And so in today's video, I'm going to be showing you how you can generate more leads and hopefully secure more contracts that will result in new business. My name is Aaron. I'm a chartered quantity surveyor and owner of Haydon Construction Services, a management consultant to the real estate development and construction industry. And so without further ado, let's get into the video. Now, step number one to generating more leads is simply through networking. Now, given the nature of the construction industry and the fact that your clients are likely to be spending hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars or pounds on construction projects, it's very important that you build up trust and you get to know your potential buyer in order to present yourself as somebody who's trusted and reliable and who can deliver their projects for them. And so the best way to do this is through in-person networking. Now, a good place to start with this is through your local chamber of commerce, and they should be able to point you in the right direction to suitable events that you may be able to attend in order to generate leads through networking. Now, industry events are a great place to start if you're looking to secure your next customer. Now, these industry events could be centered around architecture or design, and essentially you'll be rubbing shoulders with other professionals who also work with your target customers. And so it's a great opportunity for you to meet with these professionals who are already working with your customers and present yourself as somebody who may be able to resolve some of the common issues that are faced in managing and delivering construction projects, and have a conversation about how you can assist them in delivering projects on behalf of their clients. Another good place to start in terms of networking is charity events and fundraisers. Now, just a word of caution here. It is important that you attend the charity or the fundraising event in the spirit of it simply being about the charity or the fundraiser. So this should be your first thought when you're attending these events. It's designed to be an informal event where you're raising money for a good cause. And the last thing anybody wants to see is somebody pushing hard, trying to generate leads, trying to generate new business. So first and foremost, it should be about the charity or the fundraiser. But through being a part of this, you're more than likely to meet potential customers or other business people and professionals within the real estate development and construction industry who could recommend you to a potential customer. Another good way to network in person is to think about your immediate network, which is those individuals who you interact with on a regular basis. They could be close friends, family members. They're also going to be people who are at your local sports club, people that you bump into on a regular basis. If your kids play football, or if you're a member of a football team or a sports club, you're probably going to be having those conversations that could lead to new lead generation opportunities. Now, I know a lot of people who happen to be a member of my church, and they do a lot of business together simply because we have a large congregation of over 1,500 people. So you can see how it would be very easy to find new lead generation opportunities amongst your immediate community. So, very important if you want to secure new contracts by generating leads. Definitely in-person networking is the way to do it, something I would highly recommend. The second form of lead generation is to register for online bidding portals. This comes with a word of warning that they can be a little bit hit and miss, but I think it all really depends on the quality of the bidding sites that you decide to sign up to. But out of all of the methods I'm recommending for this video, I would probably say that this ranks lower in the order of lead generation methods. However, it can still be quite effective. If you are in the UK, there is a platform known as Construction Line, which is a health and safety accreditation, but they do have their own online bidding platforms where organizations will post tendering opportunities, and you will have the opportunity to put yourself forward as a contractor who is interested in tendering on those projects. Now, I would say the downside to using these platforms is that you are going to get a lot of competition. If you think about a client who's posting a contract opportunity on a bidding site, think about how many contractors are going to be interested in that opportunity. And it can be very easy to start getting into a bidding war where you're trying to be the cheapest contractor. So that's just a word of caution if you do decide to use bidding platforms to generate more leads for your construction business. The third lead generation method that I would recommend is to register for government tendering platforms. Now, some of my clients have had a little bit more success on the government tendering platforms as opposed to the private company platforms, because with a lot of patience and persistence, they've actually been able to secure government contracts through these government portals. Now, I do say patience because the administrative process involved can be extremely onerous. It is something that a lot of local governments have picked up on. They realize that the paperwork and the administrative process can be quite laborious. And so they've made a decision to try to streamline this process as much as possible, especially to support SME contractors who want to secure work. Now, government tendering sites are also designed to be a little bit more of a fairer process. It means that there's a lot more checks and balances when it comes to hiring contractors for government work. It has to be a fair, equal, and open process when it comes to procuring contractors. And so, therefore, the most suitable contractor will always be hired for that particular government contract, which is great news for you if you're a contractor because it means that you're in with a fair chance of securing contracts so long as you tick all the right boxes. Now, the fourth lead generation strategy that I would recommend is to register as a vendor. Now, many large organizations that are involved in building contracts will often have a dedicated procurement team set up within their organizations simply for the purposes of hiring contractors and building a supply chain that can assist them in delivering their projects. And this goes for both government work and also the private sector. And so large scale property developers will have a team of specialists who sit internally who will be qualifying the right contractors and suppliers to join their supply chain. So I would recommend that you stay up to date with construction news, subscribing to news-based magazines that cater specifically to the construction and real estate development sector, and just stay up to date with what's happening in your region in terms of new planning permissions that have been granted for developments. Who are the contractors who are going to be undertaking the work? Who are the property developers or the local government agencies who are responsible for overseeing those projects? And from there, I would recommend visiting their websites because 9 times out of 10, they will guide you in the direction of becoming a supply chain member, which would normally take place online, where you would go through a PQQ process. So that would involve providing details about your business, providing insurances, any licenses that may be required to undertake specific construction activities. And once you've been approved as a supplier and you're able to join the supply chain as a vendor, you now know that you've passed their pre-qualification process and that it's now just a case of being able to get in front of the right people and be given the opportunity to tender on a new construction project. And this could mean finding out who the commercial managers or the project managers are on that project, or finding out who the quantity surveyors are who are going to be overseeing the project on behalf of their property development clients, and asking for an opportunity to get onto the tender list to price new construction work. The fifth method of lead generation that I would recommend is through digital marketing. Now, we live in very much a digital world these days. And despite the fact that in-person networking can be extremely effective, digital marketing is very quickly becoming a new way in which construction companies are generating leads for their business. And this can be in the form of both paid online advertising and through organic SEO, in other words, search engine optimization. And a great way to think about this is if we think about Google. If you've ever used Google to search for keywords for a particular subject, you'll often come up with businesses who have paid for advertising and sit at the top of the Google page so that their potential customers who are searching for those keywords can easily recognize that these are companies that provide services related to those key search terms. And then you also have what's known as Google My Business, which is where, again, if a potential customer is searching for key search terms, your business can show up on Google Maps depending on the geographic location of those individuals who are searching for those particular keywords. So that's a really good way to get out there in front of your potential customers, although it can be quite expensive and it does require a certain level of investment into AdWords in order to reap the benefits of that investment. Now, other platforms such as LinkedIn and Instagram and TikTok, they're also great platforms for being able to showcase the quality of workmanship that you can provide as a contractor. It gives viewers the opportunity to kind of get to know who you are as a director and to get to know your business. Helps them to get to understand that there's real people behind your construction business who are delivering projects. And again, it's all about building trust. Research actually shows us that followers and subscribers feel that they have more of a personal connection with those who post regular videos on social media. And so it's a great way to generate leads for your construction business. And this is all based around the concept of show and don't tell. Through advertising, we can kind of tell our customers what we do as a business and the types of problems that we solve. But with social media and the ability to post videos, you can actually show your customers how you're solving problems by documenting and showcasing your work and the quality of the work that you provide for your customers. Now, the sixth form of lead generation that I would recommend is trade publications. Now, nowadays, this is probably regarded as a bit more of an old school way of advertising your construction business, and a lot of marketing experts would argue that it isn't as effective as lead generation through social media. However, it is a great way of getting your business out there and being seen by other professionals who operate within your industry. So think about publications from architectural or design journals. Architects and designers work with the same customers that you want to work with. And so if you're able to get some adverts into those journals and you have architects and designers who are subscribers of those publications, they're going to be coming across your business. It may lead to some form of lead generation and inquiries about how you can help them deliver projects for their clients. And so, lead generation for construction businesses, you do have to have patience. This isn't an overnight success thing. And in fact, I once heard a marketing professional say that you should be thinking about your marketing and lead generation campaigns in terms of what it could yield 12 months down the line. It could mean that somebody who may not need your services now may need them in, say, 8 or 12 months down the line, and they're going to remember who you are. As long as you're posting regularly, as long as you're showing up on a regular basis, and you're getting your branding out there, there's a chance that results could come further down the line in 12 months. But the good news for construction contractors is that the best form of lead generation is actually through word of mouth. And so if you're able to use the steps that I've talked about in this video to generate some leads and you then secure contracts from those leads, provided that you perform exceptionally well on those contracts and that your customers and your clients are extremely happy, the chances are is that they could recommend you to your future customers. And that's exactly where you want to be, because then you're in a position where you're winning new contracts through word of mouth and your advertising and lead generation methods are then bringing new customers into the business who will then be able to recommend you to other customers. And so that's it for today's video. I really hope you got something useful from this. Drop me a comment below and let me know what tactics you're using to generate new leads for your construction business. Once again, my name is Aaron. I'm a chartered quantity surveyor and owner of Haydon Construction Services, a management consultant to the real estate development and construction industry. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.